tired of making the same old breakfast every day? Me too. Chef Kolawole Dosunmu, our in-house man with a frying pan, will each month show us how to creatively turn an old humdrum recipe into a finger-licking one. What's on the menu today, Chef?
Well, Keturah, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again every month. We'll see you every month, won't we?
Yay!
Yeah! So what's on the menu? We've got breakfast and brunch ideas. Now, I see a lot of delightful things spread out in front of me, very colourful. What are we cooking?
Well, you know, the thing is that a lot of people have taken breakfast to be eggs and ham and stuff.
I know.
There's so many ideas. So and I'll be honest with you, I came up with this yesterday.
Ooh, a new and exclusive
and
recipe.
Crossed.
Well, you're a chef. We don't need to cross our fingers. All we need to do is watch you make it. So what are we making? Let's get cooking.
I'm doing savory French toast with a tangy shrimp sauce to go with it.
Interesting. And what makes the shrimp tangy?
Lemon.
Ah, okay. So it's not very standard to have prawns or shrimp with your breakfast.
No, it isn't.
And why have you chosen to do that?
Well, I think seafood is something that's light to start the day out with. And with the richness of eggs and French toast, the lemon and the shrimp should just cut down that richness. And it helps digestion as well.
So it's almost like a novel take on perhaps halfway between a croque monsieur and chef or eggs Benedict with lobster. Lobster Benedict.
You should be a chef
Prawn
yourself.
Benedict. I know, I should, shouldn't I? Let's get cooking.
Okay, then. So, you're going to have to help me out.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yes, you're going to help me crack these eggs.
You give me the most boring jobs to do. Crack an egg. Crack an egg.
You're too attractive to do other things. So here you go.
Too pretty to cook. I like that.
So
right.
help me crack those eggs.
So what is this in here, first of all?
This is my starter.
Okay.
What I do is I start out with an egg mixture so that it binds all the flavors together.
Right.
So now we're adding extra eggs to beef it up for the
So you said it's an egg mixture. What does it contain?
It's basically a savory custard.
Which contains what?
It has eggs, obviously. There's salt. I went very lean on this. I put a bit of sage and some white pepper.
Okay, so I'm about to crack these eggs into this concoction that we've made.
And while you're doing this...
Shall I use this?
Yes, please go ahead.
Ooh.
Kitchen work. While you're doing this, I'm going to start out our prawn sauce.
Okay, let's watch you create that.
So here we have a pan. It's already hot. There's a bit of olive oil inside.
Right.
And we're going to just sweat off our onions.
Okay.
Basic. When you're making a sauce, start out with the onions. When the onions sweat down and release their aroma and their natural oils, then you start building on it.
Okay, interesting. And I know it's quite standard for people to create or to fry onions and garlic off in order to release the aromas, the nice pungent aromas in the kitchen. So no matter what you're cooking, you can actually just make your kitchen smell nice by frying off onions and garlic.
You can, but you should always do your onions before the garlic.
Ah, interesting.
Because
why is that?
If you do the garlic when you're doing the onions, garlic is much more delicate. So the oils in the garlic will actually start burning and make the garlic bitter.
Ah, always learning with Chef KD.
Thank you very much.
So sweat off your onions, and then what's next? What's the next step?
The next thing we're going to do, after the onions sweat off, we will add the garlic.
Okay.
And just about 10 seconds left. Put the garlic in, and then once the garlic goes in, we're going to be a bit fast with things.
Okay.
We don't want the garlic to burn, so we'll extract flavor while we're building and layering flavors.
Interesting.
I love saying that, actually.
Okay, so I'm whisking these eggs in the egg mixture that you've already pre-created for us.
Perfect. Now
I've got to add my own chef knowledge here. I'm whisking it with a bit of air, you see, so the eggs are becoming rather frothy in order to make them light.
She knows.
I've been listening to you.
Thank you. So we're going to help out the eggs. We're going to add a bit of water.
Oh, interesting. Why do we do that?
If a lot of people add milk to eggs, scrambled eggs, whatever, the lactic acid inside the milk actually starts breaking down the eggs, so you now get watery eggs.
Oh, is that why you sometimes have curdled eggs when you put milk in? I see. Okay, so I've added some water in there.
Now we're going to go to my spice palette here.
All right.
I have basil. I have oregano. I have sage. I have white pepper, black pepper, a bit of cayenne, and salt.
Okay.
Now for this, we're going to put some white pepper.
Bit of white pepper in the mixture.
Some sage. Remember, this is just to lift up the base that I've already created.
Yes.
And then a pinch of salt.
Alrighty.
And that's all the flavor we need in the French toast.
Okay.
Because we don't want it to counteract with the sauce.
I see.
Now, if we go back to our sauce.
So that's frying off quite slowly. Why is it? Like, have you purposefully put it on low heat?
Yes, I have.
I see.
I want the flavors to build as gradually as possible.
Okay.
Because it's, you know, seafood is delicate. And if anything gets burnt, you're going to have an acrid taste and then it's going to go off and it'll ruin your breakfast.
I see. And breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Yes, it is.
You start the tone, set the tone, start it off right, finish off spectacularly.
So, in goes our garlic.
Okay. So what have we got over there? I see some bread.
Yes, that is what we're using for our French toast because
Oh,
I think we're ready to... I will start out with a few
So let's talk about the recipe that you've chosen. French toast and prawns. It's not very typically African flavours.
No, it isn't.
Okay, so where has the inspiration come from?
This, I'll be honest with you, this isn't an African thing at all.
Okay.
I chose savoury French toast because most people know sweet French toast with syrup. My mother, the first French toast I ever had was from my mother, and it was savoury. And that's actually my go-back to French toast.
Interesting.
I hardly ever have the sweet French toast. So I just figured that let's do something different. Let me show a bit of my background, my home life. And let's play it up.
And it's quite important, isn't it, to also inject a bit of yourself into your cuisine.
You have to.
That's what separates you from any other chef.
Of course. I mean, you've had my food, and you've seen the way I am,
yes.
and they kind of marry each other.
Yes, they definitely do.
Yeah, she said yes too soon. All right, so
okay, let's finish cooking. Okay. So do we just dip the bread? I'll let you explain it.
We dip the bread in. We're using a fairly dry bread.
Okay.
So that it absorbs as much of the custard as possible. So I will dip this in.
Okay, let's make sure we're getting this on camera. So I'll just move this over here.
Okay.
Let's put that down there.
Okay. So we dip it in. And because this is a dry bread, it's going to soak up the egg almost immediately.
So have you purposefully let the bread dry out?
Yes.
It's
best to do that. If you buy fresh bread, it's the egg mixture is just going to stay on the outside and it won't permeate.
And not soak into the inside.
Yeah, it has to soak
inside. Learning things every day. Okay, so you pre-oiled the pan?
Yes, I have.
Right.
Just a little bit of olive oil. Just a little bit. I mean, it's a non-stick pan, as we all know, but nothing's perfect.
Okay, we are going to have to pick up the tempo a little bit because we're running out of time. So what do we do next? I see those prawns sitting, calling my name over the other side of the table.
They're going in next. I need to clean my hands off.
Alrighty.
Okay. Now, the next thing we're doing, we're adding a bit of butter.
Okay.
Now, the reason I'm adding butter is that the butter, one, amazing flavor, but it's going to...
That seems like a lot of butter.
Oh, it's...
We're talking about lowering cholesterol levels here, not raising them.
It's a lot of prawns.
Okay.
And remember, you need the butter to kind of stabilize the dish because you are putting lemon inside. And lemon and cream tend to want to fight.
So the butter joins everything together.
Yes.
Right, so you need to explain these things as you're carrying us along. We don't know this. You're the expert.
You know, I get confused when I see you because you know how to cook so much.
Stop it. Okay, so let's get those prawns in there so we can at least see what the dish looks like before we move on.
Oh, no prawns yet. Now, we'll go back to the spice palette. This is a time where all your spices go in. So we're going to put our herbs. My sage is going in. Because we actually need the heat of this whole process to extract all of the flavors from the spices. Black pepper.
Okay.
And what's bringing us back to Africa is the heat of cayenne.
I did wonder what the Africanness about this dish was. Fantastic. So, Chef, I'm going to need you to dump those prawns in because we are almost out of time.
Oh, yeah, this is coming up. Now.
Okay, so just carry us through what you're doing exactly.
I've added the prawns.
Right.
And you know prawns cook really quickly.
Yes. Thankfully.
And then a lot of people tend to waste the water, the liquor from the prawns.
Right.
I don't because...
So let's just angle that towards the camera so we can see what we're doing here.
You have all of this. This is all flavor here. It's not yucky, it's flavor. So you add a bit.
Oh, interesting.
Now,
and this is just water from the prawns that are defrosted?
That's it.
Intriguing.
Now, things are going to get a bit funky. Now, to build up more flavor, I'm adding a bit of cerveza, beer.
Okay, let's pick up the tempo.
There's some beer. Some lemon juice. Give it a quick stir. Now we're going to put in cream. This is a creamy sauce. Not too much.
Okay.
Ouch.
So I might have to leave you here and see you later on in the show because this is taking way longer than I expected. I thought you said this was a quick breakfast idea.
Good food.
We don't have time for that. Hurry up, honey. Let's go. Let's pick up the tempo.
All right, then. And now for our tanginess.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
So you've added some lemon juice.
Lemon juice.
Oh, that smells divine.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, my goodness. I wish you guys could actually be in this studio. It smells phenomenal.
Here I did a cornstarch slurry, which is just cornstarch and water, or corn flour as we call it here.
Okay.
That's just to tighten everything up so it's a bit thick.
It's like a natural thickening agent, isn't it? Okay.
Exactly. So that's going in.
Interesting. So there are still fairly African elements involved in this. You've got the cornstarch, you've got the peppers.
Yeah.
I see some African leaves. What are those?
To give it a really fresh taste at the end of the day, because like we said, you need freshness for breakfast.
Yes.
We have African leaves. We have scent leaf and curry leaf.
Why does that smell so amazing?
Yeah.
There's a reason it's called scent leaf, right?
Exactly.
So, yummy. So that goes on at the end? Okay.
At the end of the heat.
Right.
Because we still want that freshness and crunchiness.
I see. Interesting. Okay.
And you can see this is already starting to tighten up from the cornstarch. And the prawns are nearly
I'm so excited to eat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's actually
What's happening to this bread over here? Okay. Have we just forgotten about it?
No, we haven't.
Oh, okay. Just flip that over.
Flip it over. I'm using my hands because I'm a professional. Don't do this at home.
Good save, sir.
So there we go. This needs to brown off a bit more.
Right.
The sauce needs to thicken up finally, and then we can serve.
Ooh. So how much longer is that going to take?
Maybe about 5 minutes.
Okay.
But this is something someone can definitely do at home, even on a weekday. I mean, everybody has their busy schedules and stuff, so this is something that you could actually crack
So
up.
if I had to, when I had to come to the studio in the morning, you're telling me that I can actually create this before coming here?
Yes, you can.
Have a hearty breakfast at 5 a.m.?
Probably. Was that convincing?
Not really. Phenomenal stuff. All right, then. Thank you so much, Chef KD. We are going to see you later on in the show with that finished dish.
Oh, yeah, you have to try this.
Amazing, I'm sure I will. But it's time now for a short break on the morning show. Stay tuned as when we return, it's time for our take. Don't go away.